Bye, we love you.
All right, bye, buddy. It's getting harder to leave home every time, I think. Sometimes you gotta put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner.
This week on the show, we are back down in Texas, except this time we're on the ground, on foot, trying to track down a giant whitetail buck with a bow and arrow.
Thanks a lot, Sleepy Joe.
It's funny, I was complaining about gas prices back then, and the Biden administration hadn't even got started good.
Thanks to Joe Biden, I just filled up my truck with my life savings and we're heading to Abilene. What do you say, Mr. Houghton? How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Heavy on the mister. Been doing all right, buddy?
Yeah. Y'all?
Yeah, except for this Daytona Beach weather we got.
It's a summer blast.
It's gonna be interesting. It might even get a little western because I'm not coming back till I kill a buck on the ground with my Hoyt bow. Might end up living in Texas for a while, but that'd be pretty cool too.
Well, I'm mean as gravel, I'm poor as dirt, and I like things better the way they were. Well, I'm strong in the head, but I get things done. I spend too much money to have a little fun. Come on. I ain't changing, I'm a stubborn man. So can you love me like I am? Can you love me, baby, like I am? Yeah.
If you watched the show last week, you know that the Campbell kids have been down here in Texas and they're killing all kinds of stuff. In fact, they did so much killing that we couldn't fit it all into one show. And these hunts are awesome, and I just had to show them to you before we get after the big bucks down here in Texas.
Great day. That's a big old deer.
On this hunt, Cade kills his first whitetail deer ever. It's a big moment for a young man to get his first whitetail deer, and then out strolls whitetail deer number 2. I love Texas. Such a target-rich environment. That's stupid. That's the Democratic Party at work right there, son.
The windmill?
Yeah. One hunt y'all didn't get to see last week was my wife Kat took Kate and Izzy into this box blind, and they both got to shoot 2 more deer.
So cute.
Last week on the show, y'all saw Kat kill a pretty good buck with her Hoyt bow. And the fact of the matter is, her and I used to hunt quite a bit together when we were courting. But once Red Arrow took off between holding the business down and raising kids, she hadn't had a whole lot of time. So about midweek, she took her Hoyt bow and a camera, and she got this hunt on video. That's awesome, man.
Oh my gracious.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited.
Good job. I'm proud of you. That was great. And you self-filmed it too. I was really proud of her because this is not easy. Anybody who's ever self-filmed a bow hunt knows it's pretty tough. I figured I'd hire her to come out and film my last bow hunt on the last morning. Kat did a great job filming her own hunt, but for some reason, when my doe came in there, she was filming, everything was perfect, crystal clear, and she hit the panic button, which all y'all producers out there know, that's the full auto button. She's so worried about messing up the hunt that she hit the panic button and the autofocus focused on the briars when my arrow blew through this deer. Pro tip for you fellas, don't critique your wife's filming ability. I tried not to, and I had to just make one little comment which ignited a pretty substantial argument. And I'm glad to say that we are still happily married, even though against my own better judgment, I commented on the fact that she got the kill out of focus.
Yeah, buddy. There she is.
The hunt this week was actually filmed before we brought the kids down. And although hunting with your wife and kids is a ton of fun, I think a close second is going to be hunting with a Hoyt bow and a raw 300 blackout on the ground with no ground blind, hunting some of these Texas bucks down. I use SKB because unfortunately, I'm not the only one that handles my gear. Like the baggage handler that might have done one bong rip too many on his lunch break.
Sorry, bro.
Or that frayed bungee cord you're hoping makes it through one more season. SKB, the world's best cases. That first evening, we just sat a blind to pass the time because the next day we were going to get up and get after them on the ground. We were going to bring the rattling horns and try to do some calling with the bow and arrow. It was going to be fun. So if you've never done this, the setup premise is Paul is going to rattle. We're going to set up in an area where the wind is right. That buck's going to want to put that wind in his nose. He's going to head toward the calling, and we're going to get him on a broadside shot while he's heading to what he thinks is two bucks fighting. We ease in next to a bedding area and start getting set up. Paul is literally just getting his grunt call out, probably blowing the dust out of it, makes one little noise with it before any of us are ready, and here comes this great big buck.
Holy crap, dude. Look at this little buck. Oh my gosh. My gosh, that was crazy though, man. That was cool.
This buck was a shooter for sure. He was quartering two and he was obstructed by brush for a bow and arrow at least. I could have killed him with a rifle easy, but this is a great way to start our little rattling hunting off the ground trip.
That's amazing, and that's the buck-doe ratio right there is what does that, is because you blew that grunt call like you were tending a doe, and all of a sudden he broke the brush and he was in there lapping in no time.
There was like 30 seconds, literally.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Paul and me are looking at this spot right now. Try to build a little brush blinding and stay on the ground. Y'all know me, I don't like ground blinds, man. I don't like to be cooped up where the cameraman can't see the deer and I can't see, and so we're gonna try to go out here and do a little brush work and get all hunkered in.
If I have the choice, I would much rather brush myself into some natural cover than I would pop a ground blind up. Most of the time, in most places, it probably doesn't bother the deer, but I've had so many experiences where a ground blind, especially a new one, new to that area, is gonna scare deer off or make a big mature buck change his pattern. So if I have the option, if I can get enough natural cover, I'd rather sit on the ground in a ghillie suit or brush in a briar patch or just get in the natural terrain and trust my camouflage, my real tree to conceal me. And to me, that feels like the least intrusive way, especially when you're doing what we're doing. We had some high winds move in and it's tough to hold your bow steady. It does affect arrow flight on those longer shots. So we took the raw 300 blackout as a backup. So if one of these big bucks that we knew was in this area, there was a couple 10 points. So I had the bow for close range and I had the rifle just in case it was a little too windy to make that shot.
The situation in Texas right now is we've got 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and I think they said it was gusting up to 50 or 60 miles an hour. And if they just come in and look like they're gonna come right down into bow range, I'm gonna try to ease this gun to the side, and I got my Hoyt right behind me, but that can be difficult sometimes. So we're just gonna, this wind is crazy, man. I hear something walking. It's coming right here. It's coming right here down the trail. It's coming, it's a buck. It's a good buck. the footage quality.
And about 3 minutes before last shooting light, this giant main beam, big old 10-point steps out. I'm like, that's gotta be him.
Rip Gamble's here for limited range hanging system. You simply take your nail hanging system, place it on the wall, grab your deer. Is that thing sturdy? Shoot, yeah, it's sturdy. Man, I think I'm gonna just stick with full range.
I hear something walking. It's coming right here. It's coming right here down the trail. It's coming. It's a buck. It's a good buck. If he comes out here, I don't care. I'm not worried about the footage quality.
And about 3 minutes before last shooting light, this giant main beam, big old 10-point steps out. I'm like, that's gotta be him. And if it wasn't him, that's a giant main beam, big old 10-point. I'm shooting him anyway. The cameraman again told me the footage isn't great. I said, I don't care about the footage. We're killing this deer.
Dude, he's acting kind of spooky. There he goes. He's gonna walk. Dude, I'm gonna kill him right there. I'm killing him right there.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, this wasn't the deer that we were trying to shoot initially, but this deer was a stud.
I couldn't stand it. I already went up and looked at first blood. We got the general back down in here, or pulled down in here, so we're gonna go. Hopefully the deer's dead right there in that creek. Get on this blood here good. Oh, look at this blood. That's a good sign. Oh man, I don't think we're gonna have trouble finding this deer. Right there he is, man. Let's go look at him. Great day, look at that deer, man. Look how long those main beams are, man. Man, this deer messed around and looked like somebody else and got shot. But that is a heck of a 10-point. Brant said there was another good 10-point in here that we could probably, you know, get a shot at if we sat this stand long enough. But it was, I mean, it was fading light. Last light, I said to Jordan, I was like, is that him? Jordan was like, I don't know. I was like, that's him. It's him enough. What a beautiful deer. He's got everything. I can't get over those main beams. Look how long his main beams are.
Well, now that we got a buck in the cooler, we can get down to real business, which is getting an arrow through one of these big old bucks with the Hoyt bow. The problem is now I'm cameramanless. My cameraman had to fly home. Paul's nickname is Super Guide, and I was just hoping that he was a super cameraman, or at least a sufficient cameraman enough to capture the next couple of deer kills on video. So Paul grabbed the camera that day. We headed down to this high traffic area where we knew at minimum there were going to be a flurry of does that were going to come through there. Turns out he's a super cameraman as well as super guide.
And I was like, I'll wait till she turns broadside. And then I was like, you know what? My pin's buried right in her heart. And if she dipped out, I couldn't have lived with myself. Killing is my business, ladies, and business is good.
Look at that amount of blood in that replay. That mega meat penetrates and opens up a hole, breaks bone. It is everything you need in a broadhead. It is incredible.
I mean a blood trail, son. Look at that. Hey, damn. That motherfucker coated it. There she is. Right there. And sprayed blood everywhere the whole way. That's her. Hey, maybe not the most pleasant of gut jobs, but very lethal. That's phenomenal. That's why I shoot that broadhead. That was a cool morning, man. That was beautiful out there. Get her back to the truck and go eat some breakfast.
For all your formal wear needs, go to RAYouTube.com.
So we got the cameraman warm-up session out of the way. I feel confident in Paul's skills after capturing that magnificent doe kill that we were going to do all right against this buck. So we head out into the field that night. We're going to brush in a little blind in another high traffic area where we've been seeing a couple of really nice bucks.
Well, everybody, we are still down in Texas in a little brush blind that we hunted on the first day. I shot a buck on the second day. Really good 10-point. High winds. We had to switch to the rifle, but was able to get a really good deer the second day I was here. So now basically we're looking for anything that would be considered a call buck or a doe. I'm cameramanless right now, so I got the owner of the place, Paul Holton, he's gonna be running camera for me, so we're gonna see if we can't kill a doe or a call buck.
Sure enough, here comes this big buck, and now the situation is tense because we've got a doe off to our back left. The buck's looking at her, but it looks like he's looking right through my soul.
He's coming to her blowing.
She keeps on blowing, and he's starting to figure out that something might not be quite right. But at that point, he already let me get the full draw. Bow hunting is nothing if not dramatic build-up and a lot of anticipation leading up to success, and this buck was absolutely smoked, and I'm pretty sure I saw him fall over, but you just have so much tension there, and that's what builds the excitement, but you have so much tension there until you actually go lay hands on him.
We're not gonna get too crazy, we're just gonna, where I hit him, I'm gonna go look. And then right there at the edge of those trees, we saw blood on the video just kind of dumping out of him. I think we're good to go, but I'll feel a lot better when I put my hands on some blood. I think he was standing in this road, because I remember this road was 25, and I remember thinking 25 yards. Does that look like a dead deer to you, Paul? Is that? I think it's him. I think it's him. Looks like a log. It probably is a log. Let me look at it. Yep. It's a darn 8-point log. Hey, Coach, we didn't even have to break out the mag light, baby. Yes, dude. I don't know why I'm whispering. He's dead as fried chicken. That's a heart shot right there. You can move your elbow all you want, but the dead meat or the mega meat don't play. My gracious. He didn't go anywhere, did he, Paul? No. That is awesome, man. 75 yards? Maybe 75. Look at this buck, man. Look at all that blood. Goodness gracious. Look at this deer. I mean, look at those kickers. How cool is that? How cool is that high one? And he broke that off. That used to be like this. And he broke this off too. He's a brawler. That's an old deer, Paul. That's a great deer. Great deer, man. What a blessing it is to be out here. It's unreal. I mean, the landscape's really rugged, but it's beautiful in its own way. And I don't know what to say, man. It just feels amazing to be a part of it, you know, the whole thing. God's creation, the way it was meant to be, despite what the liberals think. An active, hands-on conservationist.
Well, until we see y'all again next week, y'all support each other as hunters. However you like to hunt, however you like to legally kill game animals and bring them back home and eat them, we need to support each other, man. And y'all can support us by going to the online store and checking out some of our apparel and t-shirts, and heck, we even sell guns. So for all you hunters and freedom lovers out there, y'all remember the words of President Reagan when he said, the scariest sentence you can hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. See y'all next week.